Welcome to the JCS Asks podcast. I am Josiah Deacon, and here joining me is Jake Newhouse, Micaiah Wassenaar, and Katrina Sutton to discuss climate change and, in particular, the flood. So, the first question I want to ask is, according to the Bible, how do we know that the flood, even happened? Did it happen?
Well, there's mixed opinion on this topic, but based on the description in Genesis 7 verse 11, many, including myself, believe that the earth's crust was rigid open, and the hydrosphere under the ground was shoot up to the atmosphere, while the all the earthquake, volcanic eruption and tsunami is happening at once, causing to make a new ocean floor and pouring rain to cause the global flood described in 2 Peter 3 verse 6.
I like your answer. Very statistic. Very statistically answered.
Yeah, those are some good points there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next question I want to ask is, how does the flood account for what we see in nature, and how do we know that really happened?
Well, there are many evidences of the flood, but a couple main ones are actually there's been preserved pre-flood plants in Antarctica that have been preserved by layers of snow and the cold temperatures.
Yeah, and just to add to that, another example of this is the sedimentary rock. So you know how all across continents there's flat rock and lots of layers of it. So in this sedimentary rock, there's layers in between that are you can tell they've been eroded because they're soft, almost like clay. When you're playing with clay as a kid and then you'd add water to it and it'd get all soft and mushy. So from this evidence, we can tell actually that it has been severely eroded, and it can only happen from something like a big catastrophe like a flood. So this also agrees with what the Bible says about the flood.
Yeah, there's also been discovered different kinds of fossils and layers of mud and clay and stuff in actually the Grand Canyon walls that could not have been just put there when created, but it was actually there had to have been a flood to get different types of fossils up into the walls like that.
Yeah, just to go off of that point as well, it also says in Genesis 7 verse 19 to 20 about how the highest mountain peaks were covered by water, and there has actually been found fossils of clams and fish and even coral found on Mount Everest. So this is some actual physical and scientific evidence that you can look up, and it'll give you the evidence. And yeah,
I mean, clams don't climb mountains.
Yeah, no, they can't. And yeah, lots of non-Christians with a secular perspective will say, when birds are flying by and they have it in their talons and then they accidentally drop it. How many birds are actually flying that high in the sky? I'd like to know that. Yeah, anyways.
So how is all this, how is this all connected to climate change? Does it even connect?
Well, the flood is the most evidence of why we're going through this climate change in today, because many scientists think that the flood caused the Great Ice Age, because the ocean was really warm since all the water was from the Earth's crust, which is warm, which means there's rise of precipitation, but also the air itself is really cold because all the ashes and gas from the volcanic eruption is blocking the sun, reflecting all the sunlight, so which would have caused the pouring snow, making all the polar ice caps and just cold ice age. And we're coming from out of the ice age and coming back to the climate what would have been experienced before the flood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I just think that lots of evidences point that there was a flood, and the flood actually just describes, like, when we look back in our history, it points to what's going to be happening in the future. And we can see how there's lots of ups and lots of downs in the weather, and it's always constantly changing, so we know that.
Well, that's all today for the JCS Asks podcast. Thank you for joining us. Once again, I'm Josiah Deacon. Have a good day.